Kevin Garnett. Refreshing to hear that bit of commentary just about the money. Trying to win games. We're trying to save money. Got these tech boys, these money boys coming in here. It's about business. Very good. It is. That is what that's about. Although enough people are sort of recognizing that. But it's stark to hear Kevin Garnett put it in those terms.
No, really, I'm surprised. Like, typically you don't hear that sort of thing. And I don't know. I wonder, is he at all loyal to Wick? Like, in other words, if Wick had still been the owner, would he have said it?
I don't know. Or Pagliuca?
Yeah, I just wonder. Or maybe Pagliuca. Yeah, even better.
Or my guess is he's not totally dialed in. Like, he probably doesn't know the second apron ramifications and the mid-level, the taxpayer mid-level exception. And that's, he knows money. He made more money during his playing days, I think, just about anyone in the league.
I think that's right.
So he knows the business of it, and he knows the big picture part of it, and he knows what that's about. It's about the money, which is okay. We're all big boys. We can understand it. I keep saying, keep talking to me like an adult, and I can handle it. But just the number of dork-ass white boys, though, on the internet who continue to just go on and on about the second apron and how another example, I heard it today. We have the cut. Remember Kaufman?
Oh, sure.
Adam Kaufman?
Yeah.
Used to be here. And now he does CNLS stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, this is the exact, and we know Adam, I don't mean to totally bag on him. I say this with a fair amount of love and respect in my heart. Dork-ass white boy. This is the exact kind of dorky white guy on the internet who's all geeked up about the second apron and the taxpayer mid-level exception that you lose in the second apron. That is the exact guy that I'm talking to. Talking about. That the owner has to look at and say, well, as long as I got these guys in my corner, I can do whatever I want. Because this dork-ass white boy is breaking down his spreadsheet about what your mid-level taxpayer exception is going to be in 3 years. But anyway, here's Kaufman on CNLS.
Amount of people who work in media, not necessarily basketball reporters, but people who work in media that have been out there on social media watching, Boston deal away Holiday, salary dump Porzingis, all of it, and just say, boy, that new ownership group is cheap. Boy, I can't believe Boston with the East wide the hell open. Boston is just cheaping out. Why can't we get a group that is willing to spend on this team? That they either don't understand the second apron penalties or don't care to understand it. Teams will no longer be able to use the tax.
Just stop right there. They don't understand or don't want to understand. No, I mean, I don't know if he's speaking to us. He said on the internet, so we're not on the internet necessarily, but he's talking to people like us.
I definitely don't want to understand. I mean, this apron stuff, I feel my brain just go, boo. Like,
I'm with Murray on this.
I don't care.
I don't care and I don't want to know, but because we talk about it so much, I've come to know what the exact penalties are. It's really, once you just commit to reading it and absorbing it, unless you're a dope, it's not that complicated, Adam. It's not rocket science. You just take the 5 minutes to read the thing, and I know exactly what it is. And after taking the time to know exactly what it is, I'm more convinced than ever that the basketball penalties are just not that detrimental. They're in my opinion, ginned up, and they're overplayed because no owner wants to admit that he doesn't want to spend money. And in this case, I think the owner's fully justified in not wanting to spend $500 million on roster and taxes. That's a lot. So I can handle the truth on that one, but in no case does an owner admit to not wanting to spend money. They always blame a luxury tax or a fake salary cap, or in this case, this Fugazi second apron, which is really not that complicated, Adam. It's all very straightforward, but he's reading it, so go ahead.
Teams will no longer be able to use the taxpayer mid-level exception, vet minimums only. If a team remains in the second apron...
Ooh, you can't use the taxpayer mid-level exception, which we gave you last week. The last player that you even had on a mid-level exception was Jermaine O'Neal, wasn't it? Oh, no.
Someone before him.
Tristan Thompson.
It was Tristan Thompson.
Tristan Thompson in
Correct.
something like 2012, I want to say.
It was Jermaine O'Neal. Yeah. And Jermaine O'Neal was another one, but earlier.
Before that. So the taxpayer mid-level exception is like $5 or $6 million. That's the kind of player you're getting. Okay, so, all right, yeah, I understand it. I know what it is. It's if you're a elite NBA team, it's not a big loss. Go ahead, Kevin.
If a team remains in the second apron 3 out of 5 seasons, their first-round pick will automatically move to the end of the round.
Ooh, you drafted 28. Wow, you go all the way from 28 to 30. Woo! Wow, that is debilitating. Go on.
Outgoing salaries cannot be aggregated or combined in trades.
Stop.
Cannot.
That one I'll give you. That's kind of a pain in the ass.
That's a significant one.
As we discussed, that might be the one that's the most onerous. I'll actually give you that one. So I'd rather keep a championship caliber team together than worry about not aggregating salaries. But that one is that one I'm not going to totally scoff at. Proceed.
Cannot acquire a player in return for an outgoing sign and trade.
Ooh.
Teams cannot use trade exceptions created from a prior year. And teams can no longer use cash in trades. Just some of the restrictions that it is crippling.
Crippling?
It also is what it is. Like, it exists. We could all sit here and bitch about it or acknowledge that this is a real thing and don't call anybody cheap. In fact, dare I say, call Brad, Mike, all these other guys smart for recognizing, okay, we have an issue, a significant issue. Jason Tatum's injury is a bad thing. But the timing of it, if it had to happen, is a gift.
There's a green team take if there ever was one.
That's pretty green.
These media guys don't know what they're talking about. They don't want to take the time to look at it. And it's having your championship window closed, but before you got anywhere close to where you thought you were going to get to is not a bad thing. It's a gift. This is actually now a gift, Mazz.
Well, so look, I'm not going that far. And obviously they use to me, the big question is if they think Tatum could come back, like even if there's like a 30% chance, they should have thought about keeping it together more. Like for sure they should have thought about that. Now, if they think that Tatum's completely out, look, I'm not surprised by their decision to save the money. But the idea that it's the other stuff is preposterous.
Listen, I'm stuck on the same thing. I don't begrudge them at all from getting out of that tax. That is a prohibitive number. That's a big-ass number. I don't expect them to pay it or want to pay it. And I understand them getting out from underneath it. Just don't tell me it's because you lose the taxpayer mid-level exception. That's insulting to my intelligence. And it's a lie, is what it is. It's covering for an owner that doesn't want to spend, which in this case, he's justified in not wanting to spend that money. So let's just stick with the facts or stick with the reality is what I mean to say there. And don't BS a BSer. But anyway, NBA free agency begins tonight at 6, and you said Shams is promising a ton of moves?
Yeah, or big moves tonight. He was on McAfee again, saying that it's going to be an exciting night.
It's tampering.
Yeah, tampering. And then the free agency, I don't think it starts until the 2nd.
I thought it was the 6th, but I may have that all wrong.
Hold on.
And then I think, does NHL free agency begin?
Tomorrow at noon.
Tomorrow at noon.
We could have a good flurry of activity this week.
Hopefully.